Welcome to WhoDooTV. I'm Hoosier, and continuing our Image Expo 2018 press coverage, this time we got Sam Humphries and Jen Bartel with Blackbird. Check this one out.
You are now watching WhoDooTV.
Blackbird is Harry Potter meets Riverdale. It's about a young woman named Nina who discovers a hidden magical world in Los Angeles when her sister is kidnapped by a giant mystical demon, and Nina is the only one who can save her life.
I know upstairs at the panel when you were talking about it, you said, Jen, something about like you really wanted to do a book where you'd be able to explore, beautiful people and beautiful lighting, beautiful neon lighting. When you guys first started to collaborate and talk about this, did you already have these pictures in your head, or is this something where you guys started to sit down, brought it together, and all of a sudden it just organically kind of moved in that direction?
Yeah, it was definitely really organic. I knew what things I liked to draw. I knew what I was kind of loosely interested in, and that was sort of the laundry list that I gave Sam. Because I had been approached by other writers who said that they wanted to work with me and collaborate, but I think a lot of writers struggle to kind of flex in different directions for each artist that they're working with, and I think a lot of them, and this is like, no slam on them or anything, but I think that sometimes they have their stories that they want to tell, and they're just looking for someone to kind of be their hand. And I really wasn't interested in working with someone in that kind of way. And so when Sam initially approached me, the main reason why I was excited to actually start working with him was because he seemed so open to taking my ideas and like creating something out of them. So yeah, I'd say I gave him the laundry list, and then, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks later, it was kind of radio silence, and I was like, I scared him. And 2 weeks later, he like gave me this pitch, and I was sold on it, so.
And that was Blackbird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about working together, and it came out of a friendship, so we were excited to do it, and I had other ideas. I had other books that I thought one day I want to work on, and I was like, you know what, this is the wrong path to go down. What we should do is we should create a new book from the ground up that blends things that we both love together, so that for both of us, it's going to be an enduring passion project.
Yeah, for the first month that we were working on it, I would like text Sam and I'd be like, hey, also, I thought of this other thing that I would like to draw. And I would like send him some reference pictures and be like, I think this is really cool. Radio silence. And then like a couple days later, he'd call me up and be like, what do you think about this being in LA? And I'd be like, cool, I like it. And he'd be like, okay, bye. I just wouldn't hear anything for another few days. And then, it kind of went on like that for the first month.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great. It's easier that way because, as a writer, primarily your first audience is the artist.
Yeah.
And you want to write in a way that will inspire them to turn in their best work. Or, with Jen, I wanted Jen to turn in the Jen Bartel experience. I didn't want her to draw like Neil Adams or anybody else in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted a Jen Bartel book. So when she would call up and say, like, I want to draw this, I want to draw demons, I want to draw Nina, I was like, great, you're doing like all the hard work for me, really.
And Jen, what was that motivation to get away from the covers and go more into that interior?
Yeah, well, so this is going to sound maybe a little self-deprecating, but I've spent the last couple of years doing covers and pinups and making, prints on my own and creating things like pins and t-shirts. And I have, my own sort of like business where I sell a lot of that stuff. And I think like last year at some point, kind of like when we first started discussing doing a project together, as much as I like creating that stuff and as much as people seem to like it right now, it really is kind of like future landfill material. And I wanted to focus on creating something that sounds morbid, but would outlive me. I wanted to be able to start telling stories. So yeah, that was my primary motivation.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's kind of heavy.
Absolutely. And so, as you've gone from being like the cover artist and the pinups and the prints to going to sequential storytelling, have you felt like that it's actually improved your art? Like, are you getting an opportunity to actually do things and do structure? How's that?
Absolutely. So a couple things. So first and foremost, I know what I am. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I need help on. And so one of the things that someone gave me this like weird backhanded compliment one time where they said, "Jen, what I really like about you is that you're willing to accept help." That's a weird thing to say to someone, but I think there's kind of a little truth to it, because there are a lot of artists, and I think creative people in general, who don't really, at their core, like collaborating. And I think a lot of them kind of want to be able to be the owner of everything that they do. And I knew going into this that because I had only done very small sequential projects before, that I needed help with the interior art. And so that's when we kind of decided together to bring Paul Reinwand on to help me with layouts. And he recently just did an issue of Black Cloud at Image, actually. So yeah, he's got a lot of sequential experience, and he's got a really good eye for storytelling and flow. And so for me, it was less about, like, drawing things is not really like an issue. It's more how to actually tell a story on a page. And so he's been a really big help for me. And to answer your other question, as far as like, has this improved my other work? How is this affecting my other work? I feel like I have leveled up like an insane amount over the past like 6 months even, because comics is just like sheer labor. It's like boot camp for artists. So yeah, the amount of work that you have to do for like a single interior page versus like a cover, it's not even comparable. Yeah.
So I do crowd scenes on every page.
You're fired.
And Sam, like when you got the story, it sounds like Jen gave you some kind of what she had ideas on. You threw a pitch back to her. You agreed on it. And what's the emotional attachment of this story? Where do you draw from it? It's giving you that emotion.
That's a great question. I draw a lot of emotional attachment to our main character, Nina. Not just because she lives in Los Angeles. That's almost more like the icing on the cake for me. The core of it is that she is a character who struggles. She's a character who's been through a lot. As I was saying upstairs, like she's a character, a person who's always had to hold down 3 jobs, someone who's afraid that her world is falling apart at all times, but somehow finds a way to keep struggling and keep pushing, and to never get too beaten down by the world, and never get too beaten up by the people around her. And for Nina, that core comes from this belief that magic is real. And this is something that stems from an experience she had when she was 13 years old, which you will see in issue 1 of Blackbird in October 2018, that had a profound effect on her. And she told everyone she knew that magic was real, and everybody told her she was crazy. And I feel like that's a very relatable experience for a lot of people in this world. It doesn't have to be magic. You don't have to believe in magic, but we all believe in something that you can't see. It doesn't have to be religion either. You know, there's a lot of things in this world that are real and have an effect in our lives, but you can't point to them. And not everyone agrees with you that they're real and that they're valuable. So yeah, that's like just like the start of it with Nina. She also comes from a very large, messed up family. I come from a very large, messed up family. There's a lot of specific things about her family that relate to my family. I won't say them out loud because they're spoilers or plot points. So emotionally, it's just that, you know, no matter how cruel the world seems, you always believe in a better version of this world, even if it's not right in front of you.
I just want to understand, when you write a character like Nina, and your main collaborator is a woman, when you hand things over to Jen, are you afraid that you've perhaps spoken to an experience that you haven't had or couldn't have? Is there any, like, I guess I'm just trying to get to, is there a mutual respect where maybe when you fall down once or twice, the other person is forgiving and has the opportunity to explain why maybe that fell down,
Yeah, I mean, I think on a lot of levels, we always have each other's back, creatively and otherwise. So when it comes to being a man writing a woman, I'm not afraid that she's gonna say that. I hope that she says that. I hope that if I blow it in some way, or I get it wrong, I hope, and I know that she would. I hope that she says something so I can fix my fuck up before we put it in the world, you know?
And I will say Sam does write with a lot of sensitivity, so I mean it's not something that we've really had to address at this point. No, but I will say that at the beginning, when we were first going through story and character, we spent the most amount of time just talking about who Nina was as a person. Like we spent too much time on it probably. A lot,
yeah, like a lot of sharing, and you're talking about a lot of experiences like in New York when you lived there and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of Nina actually comes from like my personal experiences too that I told Sam. So I think first and foremost we made sure that you were starting with some really solid material.
Yeah.
And so there hasn't been too much that's been left to like ambiguity at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a I don't know if emboldened is the right word, but because I know Jen is there and I know Jen will call me out as need be, it makes me feel more free to write Nina and be less afraid about making a mistake. Because inevitably I will. It's inevitable to happen, and Jen will help me out, and we'll get it fixed.
Will this be an ongoing story?
Absolutely. Just like every comic book, it's ongoing until it isn't. I mean, we got solid plans for at least 3 arcs. We got vague plans that go up through like the 30s and 40s of issues, and of course, once we get there, it's gonna balloon a little bit and stuff. So, yeah, everybody needs to pre-order the hell out of this thing.
And Jen, how's it keeping up with the timetable of doing the interiors as opposed to covers?
It's a lot. It's a lot, but I have a lot of help. And I knew going into this that because I am an artist that, like, I wasn't necessarily trying to not do covers anymore. I just knew that I wanted to actually start telling stories. And so the cover work hasn't stopped. In fact, my client work is more extreme than ever. And so it's very thankful to have a team of people who are able to contribute both on the front end and the back end, because I've got Paul helping me with layouts, and then Nyong Wilson is doing all the colors for the interior art. I'm still doing covers and cover colors and stuff like that, but it's just nice knowing that there are people that I can hand things off to.
Yeah, we got Jim Gibbons,
yes.
ex Dark Horse. He's our editor, and he's helping us work these schedules and making sure we're in a safe zone. And we ship in October, but our goal is to be very, very far ahead by the time the first issue hits the stands.
Yeah, and we're already further ahead than we imagined we would be at this point. So we're in good shape. I think knowing that we have more lead time too is doing a lot for my stress level.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
Very aesthetically pleasing. It's very good looking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I care a lot about, and we of course want first and foremost to tell a compelling story, but I think it doesn't hurt to have something that's like visually appealing and fun to look at. And I definitely wanted to make something that didn't look like every other comic book on the stand. So
I agree.
Thanks for watching, and we want to thank Jen and Sam for spending some time with us. Subscribe with us here at YouTube. Also follow us at Twitter at WhoDooTV. We also want to thank our friends over at Outright Geekery. Check them out for all things geeky.